Hello, my name is Adriana and this is a reading vlog for Archangel by James Rollins. So before we jump into it, I would like to thank William Morrow for once again providing me an ARC to review. I have worked with them for like the past 3 years-ish now. Just about. And they are always so kind about dealing with me and influencer nonsense. But to jump into this book specifically, this is the 18th book in the Sigma Force series, which is just like so cool to have like been reading this series for so long and to be able to like engage with it and still love it so much after 18 books. I gotta stop babbling. Let's get to the book. So you can kind of get some hints as to what is going on with some of the cover art we have on this very pretty book. There's a lot of Russian settings and influences, which is timely at this point. I think we all got Russia on the brain a little bit. And then historically, we're throwing it way back to the ancient Greeks and some of their influences with histories and mysteries. As per usual, we have some great technology beats. Just lots of super fun things abound in this book. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that this series is being turned into an Amazon Prime TV show. So if you want to try to get in on the series before the TV show comes out, you should reread or read the first book and watch my video on it. Because I have videos of all of my rereads going up to, I think, the 7th book? I don't know. I have a lot of videos on these bad boys if you want to check them out. I will also mention that in this video, to make it easier on my filming self and much more difficult on my editing self, I allowed myself to just talk about spoilers as I thought of them and didn't really try to structure the way I filmed. So generally, if I'm about to say something spoilery, I mention it in the video and I will be turning the video black and white and putting a bar across that says spoilers, so that way you know what chunk of the video is spoilers if you are watching it and want to keep it on mute. I will also have some timestamps in the description so that way you can jump to after the spoilers are done, or you can just listen to my spoilery thoughts if that is what you would like to do. But I think that covers all of the intro-y things. So I will let Past Adriana take it away. Hello. I am just about to start Archangel by James Rollins and I am so excited. I love these Sigma Force novels. They're absolutely my favorite. I am going into this blind as a bat. I did see the first map in the book is of Antarctica. Is it Antarctica or is it the Arctic? I don't know. I obviously didn't look at the map all that closely. It is the Arctic. It is North Pole, which I guess makes sense because on the cover we have that kind of Russian Kremlin looking building. So I have a feeling we're gonna be doing some Russian things into the Arctic things. Yeah, like I said, other than that, I really know nothing about what is going on in this novel, but I am excited to figure it out. Good morning. I finished part 1 of Archangel and then also checked my mail yesterday and realized I had in fact received my physical advanced copy of it. So I will be reading the physical copy rather than the NetGalley option. So that's fun. But as per usual, we are starting off with a bang. An archivist from the Vatican gets murdered while collecting this book found underneath the city of Moscow. Sorry, I get confused. I went to school in Moscow, Idaho. So when I see that word written out, I think Moscow, but I think generally when people are referring to Russia, they say Moscow. Beneath the city of Moscow, there was a bunch of old books hidden there by potentially Catherine the Great, from an even older collection from Ivan, one of the Ivans. My Russian history is weak. And while they are looking through these books, trying to figure out what's going on, the entire vault collapses and kills many people. And we get the reintroduction of one of the best villains of the Sigma Force series, Valia Mikhailov. She is a complete and total badass. She was obviously in the guild alongside Seishan, so she is just the still evil version of Seishan, still being an assassin for hire and creating all sorts of crazy chaos for our Sigma Force people. We are also getting Tucker and Kane in this book, which are some of my favorites. Tucker is a military veteran who worked with the dog Kane, and I think it was 2 books ago, Kingdom of Bones, we actually got the introduction of a new puppy military dog, and his name is Marco, and he does also make an appearance in this book as an 8-month-old Belgian Malinois. So I am excited to kind of see the dynamics, because by the time we get introduced to Tucker and Kane, like, they had already served several tours in Afghanistan. They had already built this really like incredible bond with each other. So being able to kind of explore Tucker building that bond with Marco, and also Marco as a military dog had failed out of one of the training camps because he was deemed too aggressive. So I'm interested to see how that plays into the story as well, what Tucker's gonna do with these dogs. But dogs are the best. I love dogs. Book with dogs, automatic A. But as per usual, we've had just some incredible action scenes already, even though I'm only like 80, 90-ish pages in. And then we also have the start of our kind of potentially where our like science technology route is going. I think this is the first thing I'm gonna officially call like a spoiler, because I think everything else you can either find from James Rowland's social media presence or in the like flap of the book. So I will go into spoiler mode now. They have recovered a scientist who was being captured, and it turns out her area of study was carnivorous plants. So I am very intrigued to see where we are going with carnivorous plants. I have a feeling it is like trying to like weaponize carnivorous plants, which is like super weird and cool. But anyway, coming out of spoiler mode, I am very excited about that scientific prospect and where we are going. I think it has the potential for lots of weird and cool plot points. So I'm going to continue reading because can't stop, won't stop, and I will check in later. Good morning. I just finished part 2 of Archangel this morning, and this section was a little bit slower for me. It was all like, there wasn't enough like mystery information gathering. Like, I always struggle with that in these books. Like, they start off really strong for me with a ton of action, and then the second part, we keep doing like actiony things, and I'm ready to like dig in and do like science and history things. So hopefully the next section will be more science and history heavy, because I'm ready to dive into that now. I want to know what we're doing with, spoiler, carnivorous plants, and spoiler, I want to learn more about this new guild, Neo Guild situation. I want to spend more time in the Arctic because I think that's a really cool setting, and right now we've just all been in Russia, which is fine, but I want to go to the Arctic. So I'm ready. I'm rearing to go. Hey, so I haven't finished like another section or whatever, but I figured now would be a good time to just kind of talk through one of my larger complaints with the Sigma Force series since 7th Plague, and that is the choice to have Gray and Seishan have a kid. I loved Gray and Seishan's romance, will they, won't they, in the beginning. Like, it was a very sexy addition to the story. This whole like assassin on the other side and like our main good guy, and they're just like back and forth. It was very exciting. I loved all of that. And I even loved like when they, I don't know, Seishan fully comes to the good side. They settle into like this really sweet romance. Like, she's learning how to have a family and to trust the people around her and to be trusted and loved. And it was just very sweet and like lovely. But I think the choice of having them have a child just doesn't make sense for the characters they are. And I will like juxtapose this to the other couple we have in the story who have kids, Monk and Kat. So like Kat gets pregnant very, very early on in the series. I think it might be like after the first book. Like or not the first book, the second book, because I think she's introduced in the second book. So I mean, she's pretty immediately like pregnant. And, you know, she takes a full step back from field work. She doesn't do field work anymore. There's like a couple like weird onesie-twosies here or there, but like as a character, she made that choice of like, we are having children, I'm stepping back and I'm staying at Sigma headquarters and being an intelligence analyst, which like makes a lot of sense. Like if you are having kids and you're going to prioritize having kids, then yes, take a step back. And even Monk, we've seen he's still doing field work, but is definitely taking a full step back, and like his decisions are different because of having a child. He does not take as many risks. He doesn't do as many crazy things. So like for those characters, it makes a lot of sense. But for Gray and Seishan, their decision making hasn't changed at all. They're still acting like reckless single people. Like I still really like their romance. I still really like them as a couple. Their characters doesn't make sense with having a baby waiting for them at home. Like Seishan is really tied up in this old grievance with the main bad guy in this book, Valya, because they were both members and assassins in the guild, and then they've both hurt each other a lot along the way. And so Seishan has said in her internal monologue, like, one of us is not walking out of this alive, or maybe neither of us. And it's like, babes, you have a child. Like, you have a small baby waiting for you at home. Like, you can't be thinking this way. And then she's like mentioned several times that like she needs to watch out for Gray because she can't leave Jack, their child, fatherless. I'm like, you can't leave Jack, your child, motherless either. This is ridiculous. To me, it doesn't add tension to any of their scenes. It just makes them seem reckless and stupid. And I don't want them to be reckless and stupid. I want them to be intelligent and cunning and action heroes. And like this just doesn't really give me action hero. It gives me irresponsible. So yeah, that's where I'm at with them having a kid. Okay, I finished part 3 last night. In this part, we definitely got a lot more of like the history kind of thing. A lot digging into the Russian Orthodox Church. And then we also got like kind of Tomb Raider-y. Like they're at like this special church. They're underground. There's like little puzzles. So we're getting into it. I'm still confused about the science part. But hopefully this next section will focus on that because I really don't see the connection yet. But I'm excited about this connection and where it's going and what we're doing. And we still haven't gone to the Arctic, which I'm hoping is coming up soon. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. These books are so fun. They're just so silly and fun and just a good time. And I'm just having the best time. Okay, I finished part 4 last night. We are 100% on our way to the Arctic now. I'm very much looking forward to it. Part 4, we were still doing like Tomb Raider-y things. We lost 2 of our group in semi-mysterious circumstances. I'm not quite sure how that's going to play out there. But like, it was a fairly unceremonious potential death? I don't know. I'm not sure, but definitely a weird vibe. But glossing over that, we're going to the Arctic. The thing I've been looking forward to since the beginning of this book. Let's go. Let's play with some magnets up in the North Pole. Okay, so last night and this morning I powered through 2 sections of Archangel, sections 5 and 6, leaving me with the last section, section 7. So I think I have like 100 pages left. So unfortunately, I don't think I will finish this today. I'm going to a concert today, so that will eat up a big chunk of my time. But I will definitely be finishing this tomorrow. And sections 5 and 6 are really the epitome of why I love these Sigma Force novels. Delving into ancient mysteries and ancient science and modern science and just clashing it all together. So fun. I love it so much. So because we are getting towards the end, for me to really discuss my feelings, we are gonna have to get into spoilers. So get prepared to mute or skip if that is your vibe. Our team is in fact in the Arctic, and they have stumbled upon what they believe is Hyperborea, the land the ancient Greeks basically called anything north of what they knew existence was. And they found this evidence of an ancient civilization that was pretty advanced, making stone structures and metal structures inside this mountain that has a lot of lodestone and whatever else. Because it is such a heavy magnetic structure with all that lodestone in there, it affects the aurora borealis, which is how they partially found it. It affects compasses, obviously, which is also how they partially found it. And it's got like a little steam vent in there, so it's like warm inside this thing. But yeah, it was very cool and exciting to watch them kind of like explore this ancient, how many times have I said ancient? I feel like a lot. To explore this ancient civilization. And it seems like they were doing some sort of like gene therapy sort of thing with whale proteins and these carnivorous plants, which is where the carnivorous plants come into play, to maybe make them live longer, which is also very cool. But the Russians are on their way to intercept them, so it's gonna go down. But yes, in part 7, we are definitely going to see some heavy action. Our Sigma Force is going to clash with all of the bad guys all at the same time, and it's going to be intense. So with that, unfortunately, I will not be getting probably much more reading done today, but I am so excited to finish this up and see how we conclude all of this madness. Okay, so here we are at the end. I actually finished this yesterday and just kind of gave myself like a full 24-ish hours to gather my thoughts, think about things, appreciate, sit in this novel, in this world. I really enjoyed it, as I always do. I always love these Sigma Force books. They are so fun. They just scratch every itch in my brain of what I am looking for in a book. In this last section, we, get all of the action with knowing basically all of the mysteries we have going on. So we've gotten all the answers to the questions that we have had leading up into the end here. And so you just get to sit back and enjoy everything. Like, no thinking, just tension and action and character revelations and just good stuff. Good stuff. A lot of really gruesome deaths. I don't think anything is really gonna top for me the death in Tides of Fire when there's like a pinhole in the deep water submersible that like slices the person in half. Like that is and forever will be probably my favorite Sigma Force death because it's just so crazy. But we had some really intense deaths in this one. And you know what? I put that spoiler nonsense in here for a reason. So let's talk some spoilers on some of my favorite deaths in this book. Number 1, maybe we'll go in reverse order. So like my third most favorite death, very gruesome and like kind of disgusting to the pit of my stomach. Very much appreciate it because of who the character was. Our main bad guy in this novel, Valya, she meets her gruesome end by being devoured by the carnivorous plants that inject you with like a neurotoxic poison thing first that just like physically arrests your body but keeps you conscious. So she gets eaten by the plants and can't do anything about it, but is conscious and feels everything. Very gruesome, very intense, very creative. Enjoyed a lot. Second favorite death was one of the henchmen falls into a vat of boiling sulfuric mud. So gets boiled in mud. Very intense, but appreciated. And then finally, my absolute favorite death was the main villain, Valya's lieutenant, Nadia. She gets hit with a deer slug. For those who don't know, a deer slug is just like a solid chunk of lead you shoot out of a shotgun. So instead of having the pellets in the shotgun, it's just one solid piece. So very heavy, but kind of slow projectile out of a shotgun. She's wearing body armor, so the slug doesn't actually penetrate her body, but it does knock her backwards. And in that knocking her backwards, her neck gets pierced by a sculpture sticking out of the wall, a sculpture of a thorn sticking out of the wall. So again, extremely gruesome, but very much giving vibes of like Final Destination, in which the thing you think is gonna kill you doesn't. You like avoid getting killed by the most obvious thing and then get killed by the less obvious thing. So like, very much appreciate that. Very creative. Loved it. A+. Very fun. And I love these books. So I guess this is not quite the end, because I will be vlogging my trip down to Scottsdale, Arizona to get this bad boy signed. Stick around and watch me go to Arizona in the middle of summer to go meet my favorite author and get this book signed.